A very warm welcome to each one of you. I don't want to, take too much time. I promise the panelists that I'm going to talk the least today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sangeeta George, and I am the head of counseling here at Univariety, and I come with more than 15 years of experience as a career counselor. But I am joined by wonderful panelists today, as you can see, and I am so grateful for this opportunity I have to be spending this 1 hour with each one of you. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started and introduce each one of our panelists to you. I want to start with Ms. Sonia Prasad, who is a friend and also someone that I have worked with by her side. Sonia is a career counselor at Oak Ridge International School, Vachupalli. She's had a progressive experience of over 20 years in customer service, process training, and mentoring. She's a well-rounded, multilingual, culturally aware professional with a unique ability to relate to diverse populations with various backgrounds. Sonia, welcome. So if you can just thank everyone. Yes.
Thank you,
Next, we have Dr. Vishal Varia. Dr. Varia is the Managing Director of Rosary School in Rajkot and also the CEO and founder of Career Disciplines in Rajkot. He's an educationalist with a decade of experience in the industry. Dr. Varia is also always ready to learn new systems and use educational technology in his day-to-day tasks. He's Google Certified Educator Level 1 and a PhD in education. Dr. Varia, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Sangeeta.
Yes, and Ms. Ritu Vasan is our next very special panelist. Ms. Vasan is the founder and CEO of Edu Crossroads Consulting in Mumbai. She is an accomplished educator and career counselor with over 16 years of extensive experience in the corporate and education sector. Her past experience in as HR and hiring consultant across functional domains enables her to guide and mentor students on course and career choices as well as university applications and admissions. Welcome, Ritu, for being with us here today.
Thank you so much.
Yes. One thing common, Arshad, I'm going to get to you, but one thing that's common among the three special panelists that we have is that they are all GCC certified and they're extremely passionate about career counseling, and that's why we're here. And lastly, we have Mr. Arshad Mahmood. He is the Vice President for Training and Certification at Univariety. He's also the National Head of Global Career Counselor Program by Univariety in collaboration with UCLA Extension. Arshad has over 13 years of experience spread across business and development and training and certification. He is an explorer who constantly looks for opportunities to learn and innovate in his profession. Arshad, I'm so glad that you're here, part of Univariety along with me. So welcome to you too.
Thank you, Sangeeta.
And our dear participants, thank you so much, educators and counselors and whatever background you're here from. Obviously, you are curious about what we think and what we believe the NEP 2020 is going to have as an effect on our students and on us as a country. But before we go into it, I'm just going to do a poll really quickly for us to get an idea of who's here with us today. So on the right-hand side of your screen, you will see a poll. If you can just go ahead and fill out whether you're from the education background, if you're into counseling. So education means if you are a teacher, headmaster, headmistress, principal, whatever it might be, and other industries. Okay, great. I don't know, panelists, if you can see the poll. Yes, yes, a lot from the education, counselors, other industries. Great. So we have mostly, it's a very close tie between education and counseling. So thank you so much for that. So just thinking about the NEP, I think it's a familiar topic. Each of us know it. We've got umpteen number of documents through WhatsApp, through email, and there's general excitement around it is what I think. But today what we're going to focus on is on the changes that are proposed mainly in the school system. and our role as a career counselor. And I think it's a very, very important topic to be talking about, even though these changes are gradual. So whether it's how the years are split in the new NEP, or the redesign of the board exams, or the choice of subjects, we all have a view on it. Right? So let's just turn to our panelists and hear what they have to say about the NEP 2020 and how it's going to impact our students and us as educators in the near future. So, Sonia, let's start with you and get your view on what you think about this.
Sure. So, Sangeeta, this change in the education policy coming in after 34 years is itself a path-breaking event, I would say. It brings in a lot of changes and quite progressive changes. And what I see is it's an effort from the Indian government and the education ministry to make India become a global education power, which it was. We already had places like Takshila and Nalanda universities, which were multidisciplinary, and they, provided liberal education, which we are going to go back to. So I think it's a great change, and definitely looking forward to. But Sangeeta, all I can say for now is that NEP is a vision. It's not a plan as such. It will take some time and it will be implemented over phases,
Absolutely.
Different phases.
Yes, really good point for us to keep in mind, I think, but it also gives us a lot of hope, as counselors. I think just even if it's a vision, at some point it could become a reality.
Absolutely.
Yes, over to you, Dr. Waria.
Yeah, thanks, Sangeeta. Sonia, you rightly said it's just a policy at the point of time. It's a vision, and it's going to take some time while it will be implemented. It will be really into the practice. I'm just talking about the policy, the 5-3-3-4 scheme that they have been sharing. Right? The first 5 years will be the early childhood care education. We just bypass that thing. Then comes the middle school, the high school, and then comes the higher education. 3 plus 3 plus 4. Now, somewhere I'm going to talk about the last point, that is 3 plus 4. So when you talk about the middle school, starting right with grade 6 and going on to grade 12. So there have been major changes in so far as the policy is concerned. They're going to add some vocational courses. They're going to add some fun learning into it. They're going to add some kind of a bagless days in a year. So in short, what they have planned is that they don't want to keep studies only from the academics point of view. They want to add skills to the pupils. They want to add pupils to learn new and new things, and then thereby they want to give them say opening to different areas, and then from which the interest will be created with the pupils, and then they can select based on the interest how and which field is better suitable to them. So you can just think that what they've envisioned is they would like to set up, say, a class of a carpentry or a pottery or drawing or such kind of vocational or culinary skills, where students can practice those skills during their education time period, during their school time period. They'll be setting up sessions for particular internships quite within the school time period itself, which is a very wonderful concept that they've envisioned. And later on, based on the interest, based on the aptitude, they'll be allowed to have a stream selection. So talking about stream selection, I would just like to comment here is, if this policy becomes a reality or comes into implementation as envisioned, then it will be said that the stream would not be selected just on the basis of the score. Stream would not be just be selected on the basis of the results. It would be a sum and total of the aptitude as well as the interest. All about this is they are adding multidisciplinary approach in the stream. So where a science student was still now is learning topics of science, and even if he's interested in any single topic of art, he's not allowed to do it. He would have to take another certificate course for it. Similarly, a student of arts who wish to take one subject of science is not allowed to take up that topic. So if this envision is implemented, if this policy gets implemented in the right sense, then the students will be getting a multidisciplinary concept for stream selection, and where I think it's going to be a very big opportunity for the career counselors to come into it. I would not say as an opportunity, I would say as a necessity for the students, for the schools, that now the students need to be guided for particular topics, for how to create interest in particular topics, how to decide for the careers, to even to deliver in a very proper manner, to disseminate the information to the candidates in a very proper manner about the different types of occupations that they will be coming across.
Absolutely. So we're going to be talking about the subject selections in a little bit, and I'm sure we can contribute a little bit more there in the importance of psychometric assessments and things. Thank you, Dr. Waria, for that. Over to you, Ritu.
Thank you for your insightful words, Dr. Waria and Sonia. My viewpoint is definitely the same. I echo the same kind of thoughts. Yes, it's a very transformative going forward policy wherein it is progressive. The intention is very strong. The intention is to make India a global superpower as far as the knowledge is concerned. So yes, it's a very progressive one. The key would be the clear-cut roadmap and the implementation strategy. It is said to be in a phased transformative process, but again, a clear-cut roadmap with the kind of bottlenecks and the challenges that the country of our size and the goals that are being targeted, they have to match somewhere. So it is very, very critical to have a clear-cut strategy, implementation strategy, and a very transparent roadmap. And measure, and also it's very important to have the tangible methods to measure the outcome.
Yes.
So if we are talking about universalization of education right from 3 years to 18 years, which means that every child has to be in the school in that age bracket, with the kind of expanse of our country and the population, how far it is possible and how the outcomes will be measured is something that has to be looked upon. Or for example, not only about the universalization of education or increasing the gross enrollment ratios, but also let's understand this multilingualism thing that has come up, right? Wherein child must be taught in the mother tongue or the regional language till grade 5. Now, having said that, it's a it's a common knowledge. It's a research fact that children learn more or better when they're learning in their mother tongue, because of the enhanced cognitive abilities at that age bracket. But at the same point of time, how it's going to be feasible with multiple languages. So in a cohort size, a class size of about 50 students who come with different mother tongues and different languages that they speak at home, how are you going to kind of implement that? Though it says that the NEP, the policies, the guideline, the framework has been established by the national government, but the implementation still stays with the state. It rests with the state. So it's going to be a collaborative effort between all the stakeholders, the state governments, the managing committees of the schools, the teachers, the parents, the students. Every single person has to be mobilized towards the implementation of this strategy, towards the implementation of this policy, because that should be the intent. Also, I just would want to add one thing is, with the need for implementation of this strategy, which is the implementation of this policy, which is extremely critical to the growth and the quality of education that we want to drive in our country, a lot of resource mobilization should happen. A lot of capacity building will happen from the school levels till the university levels. So when we are talking about multilingualism, children will be able to take exams in Sanskrit or in any of the languages that they wish to. A lot of resource mobilization has to take place.
Yes.
A lot of people have to be involved to enhance those capacities. So it is very, very critical that a clear roadmap is established for the implementation.
I think that's a really good point, because I think a lot of us, or maybe parents or educators, must be thinking, yes, this is something from the government, it'll automatically happen. But I think it's a very multimodal approach that each
Yes.
one of us, whether you're a teacher or a student or a parent or a school head or a counselor, we all have very integral roles to play in making this, NEP a success. Just for the audience, I'm very intrigued. I mean, we've already heard such interesting views from our panelists just now, but I'm intrigued to know how many of you actually have, been exposed to this NEP and have any kind of information, prior knowledge to it. I think panelists, this poll will give us an idea of maybe more information that you might need to share, or some little bit to back up what we're trying to say, because not everyone might know this. This may be new to a lot of people. So I'm just going to run a poll to find out how many of you are informed. Don't worry, we can't see who's answering what. So just see whether, if you can go ahead and answer whether you know it fully, whether you know it partially or not at all. Okay, so interesting. So keep in mind, panelists, that there are people who have no idea about what we are talking about. So whatever you'll answer, maybe just give it a little bit of background. Okay?
Yeah, I would like to add on to the Ritu's views about multilingual concept. As we learn from the policy, is that what they are meaning to say is that till standard 5, they said mother tongue influence, right? So here the concept is that even if the child is studying in an English medium or a regional medium or in any, say, Hindi medium school or any particular language as a medium of instruction, right? So their concept they want to clear in this manner is that if just focus on the understanding of the student.
Right.
So if the child is in English medium, and if if you want to make him understand, if regional language is a better means to make him understand, then also make use of it in the explanation. It does not mean, see, there are a lot of rumors spreading around that the regional systems may abolish this thing and may go confront with this particular viewpoint of the NEP. So I would like to make it clear is that it's not like that all the English medium schools are going to get converted into regional medium for standard 5. It's not like that. It's basically giving an option to the medium schools, English medium schools, that you can make the child understand regional medium. Okay, now that is still grade 5, you can say. And after grade 5, another concept is that also trying to introduce international languages apart from some importance given to our basic language, that is Sanskrit. So it's a mix and match, and as Ritu said, we have to wait and watch to see how exactly it's going to get implemented. How, unless until it comes into the ground, we can't say that it's going to work in a proper manner or not. But so far as the vision is concerned, yes, they have envisioned in a very right manner that it will improve the understanding of the child. Sanskrit will gain some importance, and a student will also learning other language will also give an effect of a global education.
Right.
So multilingualism may add some good flavor or good thing to the education.
And just to add, Dr. Arya here, that of course it's not the option of studying in a regional language stays with the student himself. It's an option. It has been very, very clearly said by the Education Minister that it is not going to be imposed upon anyone. Right. No language will be imposed upon anyone. It will be child's choice in which language he wants to study in. But again, if there is a cohort size of say 50 students and everybody wants to study in their mother tongue, then it is up to the school how it's going to build up scalability.
Yes.
A lot will depend upon the state governments.
Yes. Eventually, it's that.
And it would be advisable for parents who are in transferable jobs to really ensure that what kind of subject and what kind of medium they are choosing, because this is going to cause a lot of issues once they keep moving to different states.
Yes,
we're going to see.
So for them, I think the choice would remain to study in a standardized language, which may be English. That will continue. Also, I really think that learning lots of languages or multi-language study is always good for the it stimulates the brain in the right manner.
Yes.
So it's always good to have that kind of option. If you can study, why not? So if the child can study French and can study German and can study Spanish, he can also study a couple of other Indian languages, so that the entire learning process becomes holistic.
Absolutely.
And also, just a last point in this thing, because that's what I strongly feel about, is why, let's understand why this was taken into consideration, and it really impacts. Where does it really impact? It really impacts at the grassroots levels.
Yes.
Wherein, when we are talking about universalization of education, where education, the goal of the government is to provide education from 3 years to 18 years to each child, where will that child who's staying in some remote village area, how will he get to study if he's not studying in his mother tongue? So if I collate the objective of universalization with the multilingualism, it really makes sense.
Yeah. And I think it also, the big thing is inclusivity, right? Allowing, giving everyone an opportunity to study. So just the fact that they can do it in their mother tongue opens out an opportunity for education for everybody. You know, nobody is saying, you know, you can only do it in Hindi or in English. It could be any language, and I think that's really, really huge. But I do have questions for all of you that we can do this for the next 45 minutes. But Sonia, I'm going to start with you. So the NEP is aiming to bring down the concept of segregating subjects as per streams. How do you think this change in the education policy affects the career choices that students can make, and how does a career counselor play a role in these changing scenarios? So what do you think about this?
So, when NEP 2020, they announced that there's going to be, by 2030, one large multidisciplinary college in every district. So that was like a breaking news, I would say. So, but then what do we mean by multidisciplinary university? So this is a concept very common in universities in countries like USA or Canada or Australia. But here in India, long back, we used to have it in places like Nalanda University, but then we narrowed down, and then we put it into different streams, and then we put different clusters for students to choose into careers. But now with this coming in, I think it's a great opportunity for students. Just imagine a student getting to select subjects from sciences to humanities, and at the same time being able to study something like arts or visual arts or sports, and being able to make a career out of their personal choices, not being put into different boxes and being entrusted to just study one particular stream. So that's gonna make a lot of things a bit confusing also. See, when there are a lot of choices, because right now in the system of study, we narrow down their choices into different streams, and then different streams will have a particular set of careers associated. But with this happening, what I see is there's going to be a bit of ambiguity, and then students would not know exactly what kind of combinations to go in for. That's why in schools which offer IB, subject selection is an important activity that we really stray a lot of stress on, and we give it a lot of thought before the student actually starts with their DP1. So what I see is it's going to be a great opportunity, but then we have to ensure that we have a lot of career counselors. If not career counselors, we at least have teachers and educationists guiding the students to make these choices which are in the best of their interest. Because Sangeeta, what is happening is this kind of approach, it will definitely foster intellectual curiosity, critical thought process, self-reflection and leadership, because they will be doing things which they are really interested in. They are going to take up subjects, they're going to take up things that they are interested in. But then again, we have to ensure that it is validated. The choices being taken by the students, whatever it might be, whatever combinations. But I feel that there's going to be a great need for career counselors going forward once this kind of interdisciplinary and multidimensional course is being offered in all the universities.
Yeah, I also think, just coming from an IB school background and having been a career counselor in an IB school, I think it's, just having this kind of holistic education is very important. But something that I've observed and I think will be a hurdle for us as career counselors are the mind shift in parents. Right? Those who are coming from, yes, my child only does engineering or medicine, for them to think that, oh my gosh, they can do a humanities, or, we do have it in CBSE, but just for them to have that option, or say that you will have other subjects that you can study, I think that would be a bigger challenge. Ritu and Dr. Waria, any comments?
Yeah. I would just like to add here, Sangeeta, the concept of this, what Sonia just said, it is more like, the policy suggests the formula of jack of all and master of none.
Yeah.
The concept is, being master of none is a very good thing, but I think the policy's main focus is to to teach the students how to handle the failures. So many times we have noticed that in the whole of becoming master of one, okay, the student doesn't handle the failure. He's not able to handle the failure. He's not able to, set up in another field. He's going as a failure. He's going through many kind of psychological disorders. So it leads to drastic steps taken by the students. In order to curb this, so this approach I think is going to help. Education is going to help the career counselors. Is going to help the incumbents. Now, I would here again like to comment here one of a very good research done in the past, which is known as 2 million minutes. I suppose you must have heard, the panelists must have heard of it, in which it was very much evident that 3 education systems, one of India, one of China, and one of the US, 3 education system was compared. 2 million minutes is exactly the time span, spent by a child in the entire education time period, starting from the, say, standard 1 to grade 12. So, considering, if you just consider that particular research, right, India stood very good ahead so far as academic scholastic achievement is concerned, right? China was very good so far as memorization was concerned. But at the end, it was found that American students were better in a position to handle their careers as compared to these 2 particular systems. So here the comment is, see, if we are giving a multidisciplinary approach, right, keeping in view the interest of the student, keeping in view the aptitude of the student, if this abhi deklo in the COVID era at the point of time, lot many jobs have already changed. So how are you going to handle it? So if the student is learning from the school itself, the multidisciplinary approach is aware of multiple disciplines, is aware of multiple streams and multiple subjects, then I'm sure he'll have better options to settle down in one or the other areas later, rather than just settling in one end.
Yeah.
So, and it is going to be a gradual process. It's not going to be a drastic, overnight change. It's going to be a gradual process. So, even the parents will be able to understand that how the students will be selected, how it will be affecting the students, how multidisciplinary is going to help them actually. So it's going to take a time, but I think it's a good step. It's a good vision that thought of, and it is worth implementing.
I also think when you're thinking of 21st century skills, right, if you look at employability skills, employers are saying, we don't want a graduate to come and just do one job. We want them to be able to do multiple jobs.
Exactly.
In fact, I was about to say this, that the NEP aims at developing and inculcating these 21st century skills like scientific temper or creativity or innovation or critical thinking, because these are the skills which the employers are looking for. Other than the domain expertise, these are the things which will actually make more sense in the world, which is going to be hugely competitive, but also need to be integrated. So it will be very, very important to have these skills. Now, if we look at the career choices, or the not the career choices, but the stream choices or the subject choices that the students will get in, right from 9th, 10th grades or 11th and 12th, as CBSE is suggesting, and 9th, 10th as ICSE is following. But the question will remain, like in A levels and IB level schools, when we have a lot of subject choices. And every school can, so IB as a board has about, say, 70 subjects to choose from, or 100 subjects to choose from. Each school is not going to offer 100 subjects. So it all depends on the school, what kind of standardized subjects the school is going to offer, and then build the capacity around that. And from that, those subjects, the students will be able to choose. Yes, as Sonia rightly said, career counselors will make an impact in helping and guiding students. I would say 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th will become a lot of exploratory classes, where you will be able to have multiple subjects, multiple things to look at, learn from, and then when you move to university, there, because of the major minor combinations now possible, you'll be able to choose your primary career and maybe your secondary interest and learn it together. So you have the options available.
Absolutely. Yeah, Arshad, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, so I was just hearing Dr. Varia actually. So about this jack of all trade and master of none actually. So that's what, so the career counselor role come here very, this is a very important role of a career counselor. If the career counselor could help choose the student, the right skill they require, and then the student is focused, obviously they become successful in their field actually. So career counselors are going to play a very major role, what I see here. As we have heard Dr. Varia saying about, the aptitude, interest, these are things involved. And the courses selection is on skill based actually.
Yes.
So that is very important. When you say skill based, then obviously there you require a helping hand, a person, an expert who can help the student. Ritu was saying that the student will explore. Okay, but there is some guide required to help them finally conclude on something. Probably a student has chosen, a 4 or 3 subjects, skill based actually in exploring, in fact, and then the counselor comes in place. Of course, the entire, it's nowadays we know that that the career counseling is a holistic process. The teachers, the parents, the school counselor, then professional counselors outside, all get involved. The alumni, everybody gets involved to help a student to choose the right career. But the major role will come from a professional counselor only, a career counselor who is there. And it's something like every class teacher, a 40 student or a 30 student has a counselor as a teacher, as a class teacher. I think it's going to happen now that that every 30 or 40 students will require to have a counselor to help them actually.
Yes.
It's going to be a major change in approach. People will look at career counselors more strongly. They would like to take their help. And of course, the career counselors need to equip them. So I'm sure we will have more discussion on this going on. So this is what I'm saying. This is very important thing. So the new education policy is definitely career counselors would be required in every step, starting from 8th, and as they go to the undergrad and postgraduate level also.
Absolutely.
In fact, Arshad, what I see from the NEP is what they are aiming at is that they want parents also to become first level career counselors.
Yeah.
With this kind of so many things, parents will have to be involved, and they have to become the first level career counselors going forward.
And Sonia, adding to that, of course, parents will be involved, but then with professional career counselors like ourselves, will come with the tools like psychometric testing and the aptitude test, where we will be able to scientifically establish, and through our own counseling sessions, we'll be able to establish the interests and the aptitudes of the children, and we'll be able to guide them in a right direction. So I think it's going to be a enjoyable learning journey for kids.
Right. So just even as we've been talking about, multidisciplinary approach, and we're going to, hopefully this is going to be, instilled in the minds of students. But then the fear is when they come out into higher education, what's going to happen to them, right? Now we've heard, hundreds of universities from around the globe are going to be here. But Ritu, how do you think we can prepare our high school students for this opportunity? And so it's a twofold question for you. So how do we prepare them, for universities that are going to be coming into India? That's one. And what do you think the role of profile building is, and how can we as career counselors help these students in order to, put together a really impressive profile?
Sangeeta, I think it's a very, very relevant and valid question about building up a profile. Now, to answer your first part, which is about the global universities coming in, it's a vision. The government has clearly indicated that the parliamentary law will be passed for these universities to establish the campuses in India. But yes, there is a lot of talk within the government corridors about this. And if this happens, it will be a great opportunity for those who really. So why are we looking at? Why do you usually students go overseas or focus on the international education? Because they want the quality. Second, of course, the research focus is immense in overseas universities, and the kind of brand capitalization that happens here. If all of that is available in India in years to come, of course, kids will be looking at that opportunity too. Now, having said that, the admission process is absolutely different when it comes to overseas universities. They are not only looking at GPAs or 12th grade marks. They are also looking at your holistic profile, what you have done in community projects, or what you have done, what kind of initiatives you have taken other than your academic requirements, or your sports extracurriculars, or any kind of leadership skills that you have demonstrated along the way. So they are, and of course your SAT scores and other things, your AP exams or other advanced exams that you might take. Now, it is not necessary that for a CBSE student to only take CBSE exams. CBSE, he can take CBSE, he will take ICSE as per his board requirement, but the student can actually take AP advanced placement exams or IB exams also to enhance his academic profile. So it is very, very important to build the profile, especially when the overseas universities is the target or the objective to study into. Similarly, in India also, the universities like Ashoka, Kriya, Flame, all these universities also talk about OP Jindal. They are all talking about building up the profile. Right. And profile is a very, very important criteria for the admissions. Now, so what when we talk about profile is actually academic as well as non-academic.
Yes.
And you have to, and then there's a concept of T, which means there's a breadth and there's a depth. So when you build your profile, you have to build your profile in a T configuration, wherein you have to have, so whether it's academic or non-academic, you show the depth. But showing that depth is 11th, 12th standard. And when I said 9th and 10th, it can be exploratory, wherein you're expanding your breadth.
Right.
So exploring drama or debates or art or community service, all these are your breadth. And then you improve your T, improve your depth by enhancing your, so for example, if you are a speech enthusiast or a debates enthusiast, doing 1 or 2 months is a breadth, but exploring, going to other debate things, exploring international months could be your depth. So it is very, very important to build that T.
Yes.
And it's going to be extremely important from both academic standpoint and non-academic standpoint. If and to be very honest, as of now, we are looking at overseas universities or some new age universities in India which are looking at this kind of eligibility admission criteria. But in years to come, I'm sure with a lot of focus on holistic development happening with the new education policy coming in years to come, I think almost all the Indian universities will start looking at profile as one of the major admission criteria. And the right time to build the profile is right from 9th standard onwards, maybe 8th also. Because that's how you will keep on building it. And it's not a
really, yeah, it's a really good point, because now also if you look at the whole application process, even in India, right, most have a personal interview that they have with the student, whether it's group discussion or personal. And I always ask students, so what are you going to talk about when you go for these interviews, right? You should have had some sort of learning experience through the profile that you're building for yourself. And I'm always telling parents, it's about the quality of the activities, not the quantity, right?
Yes.
I mean, having 30 different certificates is not.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes.
You know, have 10, but have 10 really good activities that you have done. So I think it's so important for us as career counselors to be on the same page with the importance of profiles and how it's a length and breadth, that experience that they, like Ashoka will say, what's your story? They were always asking a child, what is your story? What are you going to tell us about yourself through these learning experiences you've had? So I think,
and that's something that telling about yourself is not something which you've already written in the CV.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
It has to be something different. It has to just come naturally to you. So
absolutely.
It is a very well thought over process, and career counselors are really going to make a significant contribution in the students' academic journey.
Absolutely. Audience, there's lots. I know you all are asking really, really lovely, interesting questions. I wish I could start. I have a question for Dr. Waria, and we will turn to you. So just hold on. We're not ignoring any of your questions. So Dr. Waria, I just had a question for you, that in the new scheme of things, right, when skills and vocational education will be introduced from grade 6, when do you think career counseling should start for students?
Very simple. The answer lies in the question itself.
Grade 6.
You have to start it from that grade itself. See, but how it should be started, it's important, because the grade 6 child will not be able to understand different, the intricacies of the occupation. So, in a very simple language, उसको तो यही बताना होता है कि आप क्या-क्या काम कर सकते हो, आपके साथ कौन-कौन सी स्किल्स आपके लिए काम में आ सकती है, आप कौन सी स्किल्स अभी सीख पाओगे, आप अभी सीखोगे तो जो the point of telling is that simple language में उसको समझाना होता है. So if you consider taking up career counseling from standard 6, it's not counseling, it's just basically sharing of information.
Right.
Here we are not trying to steal any information from the students, but we are trying to give as much information possible to the student in terms of different types of vocation, different types of skills that one need to acquire, different types of, just as Ritu would say, that the T thing, the length and breadth. So along with the academics, what are the non-academic things one should acquire, one should accumulate? So as a vocational thing, what are the different categories of vocation? Now, considering, if I talk about my own experience being in this category B or category C city, students are not even aware that there are very good opportunities in veterinary science, because they haven't seen such colleges in this area. They haven't seen, so there are different areas which a student can prosper. And how would one come to know without having exploration into it? So considering the NEP and the vision of the NEP of giving students a different options, a vision to different doors to different careers. सभी जगह पे जाके उसको बताना है कि ये आपको वहाँ पे लेके जाएगा, ये यहाँ पे लेके जाएगा, इस पे आप वो कर सकते हो. That's the information. So starting with grade 6, 7, 8, grade 9 से you have to start evaluation of the personality of the students. वहाँ से interaction शुरू होगा उसका. Then you, as Ritu said, collection of information, profile building वहाँ से शुरू कर सकते हैं grade 9 से. Then training the students for particular stream selection. So 9th and 10th is a crucial standard where a child needs to be given information regarding different streams, how to select the different streams, and how as a career counselor the counselor will be able to handle, say, guide the student for particular steps. So अगर काउंसलिंग का बोलते हो आप तो वो 9 से शुरू होगा, लेकिन अगर आप कैरियर गाइडेंस का बोलते हो तो उसको तो ग्रेड 6 से शुरू होना ही चाहिए. See, if the policy is implemented, so why different subjects? Even if the school is skipping different subjects, right, for the student, and then it is the honors of the school to introduce different subjects, to speak about different subjects to the students, and to say that these subjects will teach you these things. So, right from the question itself is very clear, and the answer is that जितना जल्दी हो सके, means not earlier than grade 6, but from grade 6 जैसे जैसे उसको different subjects आते हैं, उसके साथ उसको career guidance मिलना चाहिए, information मिलती रहनी चाहिए.
Absolutely.
उसके बाद 9 से 10 से उसको stream selection वगैरह और aptitude और interest building भी रहते हैं. I would like to quote an experience of one of the candidates, Sangeeta, over here. Is that candidate, I had taken up a psychometric test of her, the stream selection, and the evaluation was of the interest and the aptitude. The candidate was having very good aptitude in maths, but the interest was not at all there. Now, further interviewing with the candidate, it was found that candidate actually isn't aware about what are the options in maths.
Yes.
You see, so if the child is not aware कि क्या-क्या उसके पास options है, तो उसको interest कैसे develop होगा? So, on one side we say that aptitude होना चाहिए, interest होना चाहिए, लेकिन interest के लिए भी उसको exploration होना चाहिए. अगर exploration होगा, अगर उसको guidance मिलेगा, तो interest उसके बाद develop हो सकता है. 6th में उसको interest अलग हो रहा, 7th में उसका interest change हो जाएगा, 9th या 10th तक आके उसका interest फिर change हो जाएगा. लेकिन कोई बात नहीं, it is fine, it's completely digestible. With different levels of interest, उसका aptitude भी develop होगा. And then stream selection में जा सकते हैं.
That's a really valid point, and the only thing I would add to that is starting counseling with students in grade 6. It would be students and parents also in grade 6. You know, I mean, just talking. All the more reason why I think parents have to be, part of this and included in that whole career counseling process. Arshad, I have a question.
Sangeeta, we are on the same team.
Yes.
Parents, counselors are on the same team.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
In fact, one small point I wanted to add, Sangeeta, that
sure.
With the vocational subjects being included, vocational training being included from grade 6 onwards, it's equally important that there is some guidance provided to the students before they get into some vocational. Otherwise, they will start getting into anything and everything. So, the role of a career counselor will again be very relevant to guide them to take up the correct vocational training.
So that's why my question is directed towards Arshad now. We've clearly established, the four of us together, how important the role of a career counselor is, Arshad. But for our audience, is it, and there have been some questions that have come, how is GCC going to equip career counselors through this course for the new changes? Can you comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely, Sangeeta. So GCC, we obviously look forward with the new changes happening, and the counselors, we will equip them with the kind of information required. We already have started publishing blogs and all information. You can go to Univariety's website and also GCC website. However, in the course, when we are going to implement any chapter or any information, that always finally we get from the authorities, the bodies, the government bodies like either CBSE or IB. These information, when they come on their website, then only we include on in our training course actually. However, before that, we keep updating our candidates with all kind of blogs and information. Another thing, we as Ritu was telling, the importance of profile building. And so that's going to be very important as the foreign universities coming. We all know that the foreign universities look at profiles seriously for admission. And of course, in India, this change is happening. And for that, we are coming up with the course on profile building, a specialization course. GCC candidates can upgrade themselves because it's going to play a major role actually. So this first cohort starting in September, first week, And so this our counselors will be trained how to build a profile. People who are not from the counseling industry, just like to say, profile building doesn't mean just writing a resume or a profile for the student. Is
Right.
basically a planning what you do from grade 8 ideally to grade 12, what all the activities you can get the student involved in, so that finally the student can go to the admission officer or the admission panel or the VC of the university that, see, I have done these activities, and which gives for that reason that I want to get into this course or career. And he basically, or she basically, tries to tell them that why they have chosen that course actually. So profile building is a very important role. So we are coming up with this actually. As I have told you, GCC counselors are going to play a big role. We will keep changing and updating our content of the course on this. We are also coming with various tools that the GCC counselors will get access, which they can use it with the student. At the moment, we have on stream selection and career selection. There are certain tools like ideal career test, or we have the stream selection test. There are many tools which are developed in-house now with our product team, which is going to help understand the skill-based selection. So this is very interesting. Our entire team is very charged up to see these products coming in, which will help the counselors to identify which skills would be useful for the student. So we have at least, I think, 2 or 3 products coming in very soon. This would be very helpful for the counselors, because basically technology reduces your research work and the time you can use in some other productive thing. So this is how we are looking at. I just want to take one more question here from Ankita Joshi.
Ankita Joshi, yes.
Yeah. For a person having corporate experience for more than 10 years in MNC as finance professional, as a finance professional, what is the probability of becoming a successful counselor? This question, the best person to answer is Sonia. So she transformed her career from a customer service banking background
From a banker to a counselor.
Yes, so I think the finance relation is there. You can so she is a successful counselor.
Thank you, Arshan. What I would like to say is, what kind of corporate background you have, what kind of work you have, will assist you in this transition. I would not say it will ever be a hurdle that you have been a corporate person or a finance background or whatever. But coming back to the transition, you have to be ready to learn, unlearn, relearn. That process is much more important than where you are coming from. So even for our students, the NEP, what I see is teaching the children the very good, the most important skill, which is learning to learn. They are not going to be just learning for the examination. Now the focus is going to be on learning.
Yeah.
And so for any professional from any background, I would say the passion has to be there, and then GCC is always there as a foundation to show you the guiding light.
Absolutely.
And where you go from there will depend on your own hard work, your interest, and your networking ability. Career counseling is a lot to do with networking also, because you learn from the university and admission counselors as well from different universities. Information about what higher education is all about.
Yes,
Also, I would want to add, Sonia, very well articulated answer, but I would also want to add here that it's the passion for working with students that will drive you the most. Passion to see the positive impact that you're making into their lives will drive you the most. It's also your research focused attitude where you will be, because it's about leading. There are thousands of universities and thousands of careers and thousands of courses. So you need to be updated. You need to understand all of these. So it's a lot of research that goes into it, plus a lot of tools that you need to be equipped with. But the most important part is to be passionate about this.
Yeah.
If you're passionate, then you are good to go. Nobody can stop you.
Yes, absolutely.
I think we have also answered along with
quite a few questions. I just
yeah,
want to just
Ifrita,
Ritu, I have a question.
Abidin,
Yeah, it's for all of you, all those who are coming from a different background, wondering whether we need career counselors. But like how Ritu and Sonia said, those are basic, and I think it has to be a little bit of it has to be innate. It has to be something that's intrinsic, and if you feel like this is something you want to make an impact in a student's life, if teenagers tire you, don't do it. Okay, but if they give you energy, if they give you energy at the end of the day, which most of us will agree on, you feel even more refreshed by the end of the day, then this is amazing. And not only from that, not only from impacting students, but just for your own knowledge, the impact that you can make on a grade 6 student compared to a grade 12 student. So you don't have to just think about teenagers. It's now across the spectrum. So just Ritu, if you can answer this question, how does NEP 2020 give liberty to students to choose stream just after 5+3 years? So I think a lot of people are concerned that at such a young age, students are expected to make that decision. Do you have any advice for them?
So that's why. So 5+3 means we're talking about just after the middle school, which is 9th grade. So CBSE is proposing stream selection or the choice of subjects only at the 11th grade. They are not proposing it at the 10th grade or 9th and 10th grade. Right. CBSE is proposing at the 11th grade, as far as I know. ICSE schools, they start their stream selection or the choice of, that has been like over years now, that 9th and 10th standards, so you are able to drop math, you can choose science subjects, or you can take eco or commerce subjects only for ICSE schools in 9th and 10th. So predominantly, I'm sure whenever the schools decide at what class level they want to give that choice to the students to choose their option of study, at that point of time, it will be very, very important and crucial for career counselors to step in and understand and evaluate the child's interests, the aptitude, work with children and parents to give them that options. And which will not be only on the aptitude parameters, but also on the skills and also on the interest parameters, and then give them a clear-cut career roadmaps for each of the careers, and then give them the options. And also, as I said, it will also depend on schools which subjects they are going to offer.
Right.
So some schools might offer, say, mass media, but some schools might offer art and design. They might not offer mass and media.
Exactly.
So it depends on which subjects the schools will be offering.
Absolutely. So just on that note, Dr. Waria, there's a question about, there's so much information on the internet these days that kids think that they don't need a counselor. So how should that thinking change in the mind of people?
This is exactly where you need a counselor.
I completely agree.
You have so much of information and you need a person to articulate for you that which one is best suitable for you.
Right.
So, say, a counselor's role is basically, information is maybe easily available, but if you consider a student searching information, it may not be, say, research-oriented information. The information may be just, leading to one surfing to another page and then collect information. It may not be adding value, or it may not be, you can consider it's only a data, it's not information at all. So basically, counselor is much required in this chaos. So when you have information overload, you need an expert, you need a qualified counselor to share with you what are your key skills, what are your aptitude, what is your interest, how you can go about developing in your direction, your thought process, and which are the fields best suitable for you. So information is all round available, but what is suitable? See, we have, even information related to many diseases are available on Google.
Yes.
We don't take medicine ourselves. We get to a doctor.
Yeah.
Because we provide the customized solutions.
Absolutely. Yes.
So which one is best? Which medicine will best suit you?
Yes.
Right. So which is going to be, addressing your kind of disease or your kind of infection. So similarly, considering the profile of the child, a counselor is definitely needed, even if there is a lot of information available free of charge. So, counselor's role is over here is more rather to segregate the information, to give customized information, and to give that confidence into the child that yes, this is the right field
This
for
is
you.
the best fit.
Not
Absolutely.
only the child, Dr. Varia, I think to the parents also.
Yes.
Parents become there's a lot of apprehension among the parents.
Yeah. So counseling has to be taken along with. So it has to be separately with the child. It has to be separate with the parents, and when the need arises, it can be combined with both of them, so that they can come with a common solution.
Yes, Sonia.
In fact, just spending 1 hour with the career counselor will, going forward might completely change the life of the student.
Absolutely.
So, spending that 1 hour, that essential 1 hour, the student might not be doing anything for the next 3 days. He might be reflecting upon the questions that were asked during the session, and that will take him towards a completely different direction, and maybe it will change his life forever.
Absolutely.
And Sonia, in fact, it's such a we keep on interacting with a lot of parents and a lot of students on day-to-day basis, but when we speak to the parents and they have some of their own perspectives about and aspirations for the child, and when we speak to the child, it's completely different.
Yes.
And then to reconcile their things, I mean, it's a task, and it's very important that the reconciliation is made, because
we become the mediators. We definitely tend to become the mediators.
If the reconciliation is not made, then it's frustration for everyone. So we have to kind of make parents also aware about the variety of options, the career options, and the future paths that the world is heading towards. In fact, a lot of parents have started opening up to fields like forensic sciences or marine biology or environmental studies. So they've started opening up. I'm sure kids would be excited to.
I would just add to Sonia and Ritu over here is, spending 1 hour is just the beginning.
Yes.
The first step is counseling is maybe it's a lifelong process. Maybe it's at least a career-long process. So it's not only about for, say, a child entering or stream selection stage. Maybe a child will still need the counselor services when after selection of the stream, which graduation course needs to be done, and even after graduation, which field he needs to enter into. And even as a working professional, many times there are different transitions. It's just that we already had one question. We already have one panelist, Sonia, sitting here having a transition from one field to another field. So the thing is, counseling services is something which is lifelong. So, and just what Arshad said or what Ritu said, I would also mention is profile is very important. It's not only for selection of the particular course or particular college or institute. It's also about how you are going to divert, how you're going to spearhead your career.
Yeah.
With a counselor interacting with the child on a coaching basis, on a counseling basis, will give some very fruitful suggestions, which is very useful to the child or to the candidate.
It's about hand-holding through the entire process. So it's hand-holding that goes on.
Exactly.
It's mentoring.
Yes,
exactly. Yes, so that's the profile building when we are speaking actually. So the activities which the counselors suggest actually, these are the students can explore and they can decide. Like if in a profile building process, if a counselor is suggesting for a summer program, okay, so this student can go to a university, say OP Jindal, and can do a course on law and business management, and then come out and say, okay, law is better and business management is not better for me. So this also helps them to identify which career they can choose actually. And see, we have been hearing, we have been questioning this lifelong. I would say that why I'm studying which I'm not at all interested. Now that the government,
that's the dilemma, Arshad. Why we do what we do?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. At the end, I think it's about finding your ikigai.
Exactly.
It's finding your ikigai, finding your own passion. So it's something that I truly believe in.
Over here, Sangeet, I would like to comment it's irrespective of the NEP, whether it's going to be implemented in future or near or far, actually counseling services or care counseling is the need of the hour.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Even
Yeah.
in present circumstances, even in the implementation of the present policy, even in the present times, there are limited courses available for a particular stream. Even at that time, a counseling services is very, very important.
Yes.
And which line should be taken, which subject should be taken, and I think taking up a counselor services is going to give some good colors in your career.
Yes.
And that's what
Absolutely.
I was trying to say actually, that the government has thought about it, and this is really everybody was waiting for it, that our education policy should be there, something where we can study of our interest of the skills that we have.
Yeah.
But if you're not getting professional help in selecting the right skills and career for yourself, the entire thing goes defeated actually.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you are not able to choose the right skill, as there are now plenty of options coming, and students will be confused, I would suggest that everybody should spread a word, especially to the parents, that they should definitely go and take professional help, as we take in any other field, in medical or in finance.
Finance. Yeah.
We go and speak to a professional, a consultant. Why not, when we are taking such a major decision for our kids, the parents
Yes.
should be aware, and everybody should spread this. I have seen a big change happening in the 5-6 years of my association with Univariety.
Yes.
Now we see a lot of parents are open, they are coming up, but still there is a lot to do in this field. And as I was telling in the beginning only, that I see that every 40 or 50 students require a counselor for them. That's how big the career counseling requirement is coming up, irrespective to the new, as Dr. Varia was telling, irrespective to the when the new education policy is coming. But anyway, we have such a big requirement now lined up actually.
Yeah, considering that India has such a huge population of young people.
Yeah. I'll just take one question.
And so that's why I just want to agree with Tina. I know we're running out of time, so I just want to be sensitive to the panelists also, Arshad. But just agreeing with you, Tina, even teachers need to be trained as per the changing system. Completely agree with you. Yes.
Yeah. Sangeeta, adding to that point, we have progressive schools like Oak Ridge or Pathways, GD Goenka. They have trained their teachers beforehand. And in big cohorts, in hundreds, they have trained their teacher, Ryan, and they have trained their teachers for the GCC, for the career counseling course. They are going to also play a big major role in the coming years, actually, the teachers as well.
Absolutely. And I've seen when you're in a school system, if a student, for example, wants to study biology, the first person they'll go to is the bio teacher and say, where do I go to study it and what can I do with it? So if a teacher is not, up to date with the kind of careers and combinations that you can do, I don't think, we're doing justice. And so that's why it's so important that teachers also are up to date and know how to counsel students well. There are so many.
I'll just take up Rajan's question here. So what is your plan for partnership of counselors in the country? So Rajan, we have the super counselor model. It's an incubator model. We help you start your own setup. Somebody from the team can just put the link, and Rajan, you can go and explore where you can have your own setup and start working as a counselor.
Yes.
Okay.
Panelists, just thank you so much for your time, but just any piece of advice or parting thoughts for all our counselors and people from the education background, anything that you can share. What do career counselors need to be doing now in order to help students for what's coming in the future?
So one piece of advice that I'd like to give is, to all the school people, if you want to have an edge over other schools, having a very well-designed career counseling team in your school will definitely help you do that.
Yes.
So that's very important going forward.
Thank you
not just because of NEP, but even
otherwise,
as a whole, as a part of the education criteria, I feel that's gonna give you a cutting edge in terms of other schools.
Yes, Dr. Varia.
Yeah. As a counselor, you must always be updated with the latest information. You must be searching and researching about what are the options available with students at different regional levels. It's not only about you're talking about a global level or talking about a developed economy, even in underdeveloped economy, what are the options available? Now we need to work for all. The students are achieving high scores, the students are not able to achieve the high scores. Right? So as a counselor, you need to focus on a very broad spectrum. You need to be updated regularly. What are the new things coming up? What are the old things getting vanished? And all those things.
There are redundant careers now. So
Yes.
kids. So my last call on this is that whoever is thinking of career counseling as a career or being a career counselor, current career counselors also, as Dr. Varia and Sonia said, that it's very, very important to update yourself, upskill yourself, keep yourself updated about the new age careers and the courses and the universities. It's also very important to professionally develop yourself.
Yes.
Equip yourself with the certifications, with the knowledge, with the network that you might want to work in. So it's all very important, because at the end of the day, what we are going to do is we are going to help these kids. We are going to handhold them towards the bright future. And if we are not passionate about it and we are not fully equipped to handle that, we are playing with their future.
Absolutely.
So it's very, very important to not take it as a career, but as a passion to help these kids.
Yes. And Arshad just ran a poll to see how many people wanted to diversify their career and become a career counselor, and most have said yes. So they're listening to
Oh, that's
all of
amazing.
what
Amazing.
interview is saying.
92%.
92%. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. I just want to close with Shabani Joshi's made a comment, and I don't know, panelists, if you can hear, because there's such interesting comments, and we'll put it together and send it to you. But she says career counseling is an amazing journey for anybody who's deeply interested in changing the development of a child holistically and allow him to be happy in what he or she chooses to make as a career. It allows all types of global information and education world and how to convert it into the best career as per one's best ability. NEP is throwing a whole world of exploration for anyone who's corely related to learning and execution of it. I think really beautifully put. Thank you for that, Shabani. Arshad, did you have any last words of advice for career counselors?
Yeah, so we are all geared up, and everybody is looking at to update and upskill themselves as career counselors, and that's the demand is. It's not career. I would say it's not just look at career counselors. The education industries is something big happening. We know the government is thinking of putting 6% of the GDP, and so we are there as GCC Global Career Counselor certification course. So we are obviously there to update you with this, and just to add that our course is also getting updated with the new new type of blended learning, and people who are interested can reach out to our team and can understand very interesting the new course, the new GCC updated course which is coming. The September cohort admissions are going on. We have both the online, plus we have the blended, the live sessions with that, and with all the tools, case studies, an excellent revamp of our course. I'm very excited. This will definitely help us to in the field of career counseling, so that you are industry ready, you go and can quickly start working as a career counselor. That's all thought process of our experience that we have gained in the last 3-4 years that we are conducting this career counseling program. And I am very interested with the new format. You can get in touch with our team to understand more. And yes,
thank you so much, Arshad. Audience, you have been fantastic. You've asked some great questions. You've said such wonderful comments. Yes, Ritu. I can send
Sangeeta,
you
one thing, yes.
Sure.
In fact, I've been reading the question and a lot of questions which remain unanswered.
Yeah.
So maybe if we could just get all those questions and maybe we
We
can.
We should collate something and maybe we
Yes.
can send it
Yes.
off. Yeah? Okay,
Yes.
fine. No problem. We can do that. Apologies, audience. I know a lot of you have said about connectivity issues. I can hear everyone fine, but I'm not sure. But really apologies in advance.
But the recording will help. The
Recording will help.
Yes.
Any questions, if you have, audience, please write to greatguide@univariety.com. You can see it up on the neon yellow above the chat box. Panelists, you have been amazing this evening. Thank you so much, Sonia and Ritu and Dr. Varia, and of course Arshad. Thank you. It's so nice to know that there's such passionate people out there that continue to inspire each one of us. Thank you for your words of wisdom, for sharing your knowledge with us, and I hope that we can have more 1 hours. Obviously, you can see it's not enough, but I'm hoping that we can get back together and have more meaningful discussions together. So
Definitely.
thank you so much.
It has been a very, very insightful session. Thank you, everyone.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing. I would say, 400 plus 400, almost 500 viewers. It's amazing.
It was at a peak, it was about 555.
Yeah,
Great.
it's huge.
Great.
Yeah. We will be sending
Really
you the
wonderful.
recordings and all the questions also, Ritu, like you said. Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.